Hello friends, Satyendra here, and in this video, let's understand Revolve in depth by doing this part in Creo Parametric. So let's get started. So in this video, for Revolve, we have this area, we have this mini toolbar, we have these options, and we have the sketching to be explained. And I have already explained these areas in my previous video, which was about Extrude. So I'll suggest all of you to watch that video first to understand these options, because these options are equally important to work in Creo. So watch my Extrude video first and then you can continue this video. The link will be given in the description below and it will also come on your screen. Just tap the link and watch the video. Now for this video, I'll leave these areas and I'll focus on other areas. Now to explain Revolve, I have one more drawing, which is this one. So I'll use this drawing to explain some of the behavior about Revolve in Creo Parametric, and then I'll move to that drawing. So let's start with this drawing. So for this, I'll create a new file. So click on New, go to Part, assign the name and say OK. Switch on your datums. Now what is Revolve? So in Creo Parametric, Revolve is a command to add the material or to remove the material by rotating a sketch section around a center line. So what does that mean? That means when you go for Revolve, placement, define, select a datum plane and say sketch, normal, switch off your datums. Now here you place a center line just like this and then you draw a sketch. So let's say this is my sketch. So when I say OK, this sketch section will be revolved around the center line. So this is that mean. Now here you have two center lines, one is this and another one is this. So this center line is the datum center line and this center line is the sketching center line. Now what is difference between these two? So when I delete this sketch center line and place the datum center line, you will see the difference. Now you see, you automatically get this diametrical dimension when you place a datum center line. So always try to place a datum center line, but if in case you have placed a sketch center line instead of datum center line, then also you can create a diametrical dimension just like this. So to create a diametrical dimension, first click your center line, press and hold Ctrl key, then click the point and once again click the center line and press the middle mouse button to place the dimension. But always try to place the datum center line, which will automatically generate your diametrical dimension. Now these dimensions are the weak dimension. So once you modify this dimension, it will become a strong dimension, or otherwise you can select this dimension and you can make it strong. Now your sketch should not have any weak dimension. So make all the dimension strong dimension by modifying it or by simply making it strong. So now my sketch is fully constrained because all my dimensions are strong dimensions. Now I'll say OK. I will say OK. Ctrl D for default orientation. Now to modify the same feature, you can go to the model tree, click the feature and go for edit definition. Same thing can be done by directly selecting the feature and going for edit definition. Now go for placement, edit and normal. Now you can modify the dimension. So I'll make it 300 and I can say OK. Now if you leave a gap here, just like this, let's say I have one gap here. There is gap between this line and this center line. I'll make it 60 and then I'll say OK. So once we maintain a gap here, this gap will be maintained all around. So now you understood the difference between the datum center line and the sketch center line. Now the next thing is the concept of single center line and multiple center line. So for that, I'll just delete this feature and I'll delete these three center lines. I'll switch on these datums. So now I have three datum planes and a coordinate system. Now to understand the concept of single center line and multiple center line, let's create this entire part first, and for that go to Revolve, Placement, Define, select the front datum plane and say Sketch. Make it normal and switch off your datums. Now first place your datum center line, just like this. Then draw the rough sketch, just half of the section. Just like this. Now add the required dimensions. So this dimension I need, this dimension I need, and this dimension I need. These three big dimensions are already coming. Now I'll go to Modify. I'll select this dimension, this dimension, this dimension, this and this dimension. Expand it, uncheck Regenerate and modify all the dimensions. So this is 50, this is 30, this is 40, this is 30, 50 and this is 20. Say OK. So this way also you can modify the dimension, or you can directly double click on the dimension and modify it. So once this is done, say OK. So now you can see that this sketch section is getting revolved around this center line. Say OK. Ctrl D. Now once you finish this part, since I don't have any predefined center axis, the feature automatically generate a center axis. So this center axis is within this feature. But if you have already predefined center line, then you won't get this center line in this feature. Now the same part once again I'll create with multiple revolve. So this time I created the entire part as a single revolve. Now I'll do this in three separate revolve. So I'll go for revolve. Once again front datum plane, make it normal. Now just place a datum center line and create a rectangle just like this. Now this is 30 and this is 40. Now I'll say OK. So this is my first revolve. Now if you switch on your center axis, you can see that one center axis got generated. One more time I'll go to revolve, placement, define, I'll say use previous, normal. Once again I'll go to rectangle and I start from here. I'll just place like this. delete this equal constraint. Now this is 30. I'll place a datum center line here, and this is 50. Say OK, and press middle mouse button to say OK. So this is my second revolve. Similarly, one more revolve. Once again, I'll place a datum center line and a rectangle. Now this is 50 and this is 20. I'll say OK. I'll say OK. So I created the same part once again with 3 revolve feature. Now if you go to view and switch on the axis tag display, you can see that you have 3 center line here. One is A1, second one is A2, and third one is A3. So this is one behavior. So when you don't have any predefined center line, then for each revolve, Creo generates a center line. So when you need a multiple center line, then you go with this modeling technique, and when you need a single center line, then you go for the previous modeling technique. So it depends upon your requirement. Sometimes this modeling technique is needed. So I just did undo. Now I have 3 center lines predefined. Now this time when you go for revolve, placement, define, front, sketch, normal, switch off the datums. Now I'll go for datum center line. I'll place this. I'll create a rectangle. This is 30 and this is 40. Say OK and OK. Now if you switch on the center axis, you are just getting these 3 center axes. There is no center axis added in this feature. So if you go for the second revolve, this is 30 and this is 50. Say OK and OK. This feature is also same. It is not having any center axis. So this is a unique behavior you have for revolve in Creo Parametric. So I just did undo. Now let's try revolve one more time, and this time I'll directly select the front plane to bypass other activities. Now here I am placing a center line and I'll create a rectangle just like this. This is again 30 and this is 40. Say OK and OK. Now one more time I'll go to revolve. Same front plane, normal. And this time I am not creating any center line. I'll directly go for rectangle and I'll draw a rectangle like this. This is 30 and this will be 25, one-sided dimension. I'll say OK. You see, since you have not placed any center line, you are not getting the preview. Now here you have one new option, rotate, select one item. So it is asking you to select any item. Switch on your datum axis. Now you just see the behavior. Now If I select this A3, see the result? But if I remove this axis from here and select A2, see the result? So you are getting two different results. Now if you go to option, you can make it symmetry, or you can go to selected, and here you can select a datum plane. Till there the section will rotate. This is the second direction. So this is the second direction and this was the first direction. So similarly, you can select any center axis or edge as your center line to revolve the sketch section. So you have just seen the multiple behavior about revolve in Creo Parametric. Now let's use it to create this part. Now I have selected this part to explain revolve, but this part can't be created just by revolve. So I'll use couple of other commands to complete this part. So let's start from the beginning. And for this, first you go to new, part, assign the name and say OK. So this is my new file, and now you will see the step-by-step approach to create this part. So by this you will understand the best practice to use the revolve. So let's start with the outer body, and for this go to revolve, placement, define, select the front datum plane and say sketch. Normal, switch off the datums. Now the first thing is add the datum center line, just like this. Then start the sketching. So I'll start from this bottom, and for this I'll add a line first. So first you create a single line, then add an arc, start from here, just like this. Now dimension it first. So start from here, press and hold Ctrl key, select the center line and once again select this arc. Press the middle mouse button to add the dimension. Now this dimension is 360, so make it 360. Now this is 10. Now this dimension is 360, so make it 360. Now once this is done, start adding the rough sketch. One more arc here, just like this. Make it equal, this arc and this arc. One more line from here this side, and again an arc from here. This also you make it equal. Now from here you draw one line this side. Now the dimension. So from this center to this center, this is 24. And from this center to this center, this is also 24. Press and hold Shift key and middle mouse button to pan this sketch. Now add one more line from here, this side. Start a line from here, come this side, come down, then go this side, come down, just like this. Add the dimension. So from here till this bottom, this is 523. Now this is 145 and this is 125. Now from here till here, this is 60 and this one is 15. Now this one I'll make it 350 just to bring it closer, but this dimension is not required, so I'll delete it. Now add the arc. So start from here, go like this, then from here, go like this. Make it tangent. This should be tangent with this. Now add the dimension. So this is radius 20 and this will be radius 20 minus thickness. So 20 minus 12.5. Now this is 170. Now close the sketch from here till here. So this complicated sketch is done without any error. Now let's say OK. Let it be 360 and say OK. One more time, go to Revolve, Placement, Define, and this time I'll go for Use Previous, Normal. Then go for Clip Model. So this will clip your model from the sketching plane for better sketching. Now as usual, go for Datum Center Line and place the center line. Now draw the rough sketch. Start your sketch from here, this side, then come down till here. Now this is 100. Draw the arc from here, this side, and from here, this side. Draw one more vertical line from here till this bottom. Then one more line, this side, then this side. Delete this equal constraint. Add one arc from here, just like this. Then one more line from here till here. Make it tangent. So this arc will be tangent with this line. Then go for delete segment and delete this segment. Now add the dimension. So this is 10 and this is 290. Now this dimension is 240. Now create this dimension. Click on this line, press and hold Ctrl key, then this center line and then this line. Press the middle mouse button to place the dimension. Now this is 145. Now this is radius 20. So one dimension is missing here, which is this radius. So this is 25. Now the sketch is fully constrained. Now close the sketch. So start from here, come down and then close it. Now say OK. So the same revolve is used to add the material or to remove the material. So if you uncheck it, it will add the material. If you check it, it will remove the material. Now say OK. Now go to View, Section and select the front plane. Go to Properties and make it A and say OK. So you've just created section A. So if you make it normal, it will look like this. Now the next feature is this cutout, and for that first I'll deactivate the section view. I'll switch on the datums and then I'll add a datum plane. So I'll select this axis first, press and hold Ctrl key and select this datum plane. Say OK and go for extrude. normal. Once again clip the model. Now go to the reference and select this top surface as a reference, then this axis as a reference. Now draw the sketch. So for that I'll first draw a circle like this, then a line from here, this side and this side, and then from here, this side and this side. Go to delete segment and delete this segment and this segment. Now this dimension is 234. This is radius 25 and this gap is 35. So this dimension is 182. Say OK. Select remove material. Select to next and say OK. Now go for pattern, axis pattern, switch on your axis and select this axis. 4 items, 360 degree and say OK. So you got this cutout. Now the next feature is this item, and for this once again go to extrude, placement, define, and now I need to sketch somewhere here 130 away from this top face. So for this I'll create a flying datum. So go to datums, datum plane, select this surface, drag it down. This will be 130. Say OK. Sketch. So automatically it will move to that plane. Normal, clip model. Now draw the two circles just like this. Now assign the dimension. So this is dia 60 and this is dia 30. Say OK. Flip the material direction and the thickness is 35. Say OK. Now the next feature is these ribs, which is this one. So for this once again go to extrude, placement, define. Now once again create a flying datum. So go to datum, datum plane. This time I will use this existing feature. So I'll select this surface, I'll press and hold Ctrl key and then I'll select this surface. So automatically it will generate a mid plane of that material and I'll say OK. Sketch, normal, clip model. Now go to reference, select this edge and this edge. Now draw the arc from here till here, just like this, and from here till here, just like this. Now draw two lines like this and like this. Make these two lines equal and then go for delete segment. Delete this segment, this segment, this segment and this segment. Now this width, this is 20. Say OK. Now this time material should be symmetry since we have created a mid plane. Now once again pattern it, same axis pattern. select the same axis, 4 items, 360 degree. Say OK. Now if you go to section view, you get your section like this. Now the next feature is this cutout. So this will be done using Revolve. So go to Revolve, front plane, normal. Now draw the datum center line like this. Then a sketch. Start from here, come down, go this side, one angular, come till here, from here till here, and from here till here. Go to delete segment and delete the unwanted segment if you have. So this is the sketch. Now the dimension. So from here till here till here. This is 340. Make it reference dimension. Then this is 300. Now this gap is 2 and this gap is 5. This angle is 45. Sketch is done. Now say OK. Say OK. Now the next feature is this hole, which is here. This is 3 numbers. So first switch on the datums, then go for hole. Select this datum plane. Now this hole is M10, so go to standard, ISO, select M10. Now the placement. So drag this handle and select this top surface, then this handle to this datum plane. So this is 0. And this is 234. Make it minus 234. Flip the direction. Now make it through wall. Go to shape and make it through thread. Say OK. Pattern it. Axis pattern. A2. 3 items. 360 degree. Say OK. Similarly, this hole, which is in the bottom, this is 6 holes, M6, div 15. They have given the PCD 265. So go to hole, select this surface, switch on the datums, drag one handle to this axis and another handle to this datum plane. Make it standard. Now this is M6, so select M6. Then go to placement and make it diameter. Now here you can assign the PCD 265, angle you make it 0, so you are getting the hole. Now let's assign other parameters. So go to shape. Now your thread portion is 12, but the depth is 15. So here is the depth 15. So everything is okay. Now say OK. Now the same hole, you pattern it. Again go for axis pattern, A2, 6 item, 360 degree, and say OK. Remove the section view. Now the last feature is couple of rounds and chamfer. So first go for chamfer and select this bottom edge. Now this is 10 into 45 degree. So for this go to 45 into D. D is 10 and say OK. Now go for round and select this edge. This is 10. Press and hold Control key and select this edge. This is also 10. Say OK. Now the next round is these rib rounds. So go to round. And the part is done. So this was the revolve in Creo Parametric, and I hope this video will be helpful. Now you can like this video if you find this video helpful, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.